Hey everybody, if you watched my previous video on how to jack up a BMW, well now it's time to get down to business. In this video we are going to change the CCV valve in your BMW E46 series sedan, and this is going to be quite the lengthy project. So basically I'm going to give you some troubleshooting tips on basically how to identify if your CCV valve is going. One is if you have like a whitish gray smoke coming out of your exhaust. That's what I'm suffering right now. It is a sign that this valve is going. Second, in the winter time, if it starts getting blocked up with ice from moisture and everything else from not bringing your vehicle up to proper temperature, you're gonna start hearing some weird noises, and like because your crankcase is pressuring up, and eventually that's gonna blow your seals out and you're gonna leak oil like crazy. The second one is, or the third one I should say, is that excessive oil consumption. We're going to get into that video, get going, but not before we drink a fucking beer. This video is gonna be, well, probably like 10 minutes long, but realistically it's gonna take 7 to 8 hours to do. That's what they project. So depending on how fast you drink, that's like 6 to 8 beer. Since you're going to be doing a lot of this job bent over, I jacked up the front end just to make it easier on the old back. So basically, let's have a few more sips, and then it's time to get to fucking work. What you're going to have to do is remove this micro filter housing. These are half clips, and once you get them in the right spot, they just pull up. Basically, if you turn them halfway, and then my filter's got to come out. Put that somewhere. Then we're going to have to remove the wire loom. And then there's 4 torque screws underneath. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to remove that, and we're going to pull this section out. So the next step is to remove the fuel rail. And there's 2 little caps right up here. And then there's 2 10mm bolts underneath there, and you want to remove that. Pull that cover off. So you want to remove this ducting in the front, and then we're going to work through the air box, mass airflow sensor, and of course fucking beer. Beer is what keeps us going. So the next part is we're going to disconnect the wiring harness to the MAF sensor. I'm going to put that aside, loosen this clamp, and take these 2 bolts out for the air box. Can't really see in the picture, but we're going to pull the air box out. We're going to loosen the intake boot, and we're just going to put it on top here. I'm going to do that and show you. Just give me a second. You can leave the boot. I just left this air piece on right now. You can remove it if you want. For right now, I'm just leaving it attached. Right, now it comes time to use your imagination. The dipstick tube is going to have to come off, and then there's that hose. Fuck, I'll try to zoom in on it. That hose right there has got to come off. There's a 13mm bolt you have to remove as well to pull the whole tube assembly out. And you want to blow it out before you do it, because otherwise dirt and shit can contaminate your oil and cause major problems. But this part you're going to have to suffer with, because it's not going to be that easy to get in there, so I won't be able to film it. To remove the hose from the oil dipstick, this is the easiest way to go. I just used a hook, and I just got on the edge and I worked around it and I was able to come off. Your other option is to cut it off. At this point, I'm not sure where that hose connects to. I'm assuming it connects to the oil separator, but in case that hose is not in my kit I got, I'm not going to cut it, so that's why I pulled it off. So now I'm going to remove the dipstick. Dipstick loose and ready to pull out, but the intake boot's in the way. Once the diesel valve's pulled off, it's going to give me access to the intake boot, the lower one down below. I'm going to pull those out. I should get the dipstick out then. Valve right there, and it's fucking full of shit, so we're going to have to clean that up. Alright, I got a shitstorm going over here, so just to recap, okay. The heat shield, there's 2 clips. Let me turn my thing. The heat shield, there's 2 clips, one here, one here. There's a rubber piece that goes across here. You want to pull it off. These will pull up enough that you can get this heat shield out, right? Once I got the heat shield out, there's a little bracket that these hoses connect to right here, and I removed it and the screw fell down below, so that's fucking missing now. And then once I got that out of the way, I was able to get the lower boot off. Got the lower boot off because it's hard to get at this one, and this one's kind of an awkward spot. So once I got those out of the way, then I was finally able to get the dipstick tube out. And I've already put a new O-ring in there. You could put it in the hole itself, but it is possible when you're sticking it back in that you might pinch the O-ring and push it down and below. So this way, when I reinsert it like this, it's guaranteed that it's going to be on there. And I don't know if you can see, I'll try to... There's a bunch of shit in this tube. And this is your oil return tube right here. So your oil that comes from your CCV valve is going to come down here and recirculate into the engine. So you got to clean that out as well. So this is where we're sitting at. Right now it's a shit show, and we're at the point of no return anymore. So we have to make this project work. And it's fucking beer time. Time to drink beer and come back tomorrow. I just cleaned it out, and this is your tube like I said before, and I used copious amounts of fucking brake cleaner to get it out. And you also want to spray brake cleaner in this little end right there, because that's where the oil is going to come through when it goes through the tube. And it's fucking, it makes a mess, trust me, it makes a mess. Like, I thought mine wasn't all that bad, but once I started, there was a whole bunch of shit that was gunked up in this corner here. I used a wire to get down as far as I could to clean it out. And this is important, because if this isn't cleaned out, if this tube is blocked, changing the oil separator is going to be all for nothing. About 4 days since I came back to this project. It's just been sitting in my garage. I was working a night shift, now I'm kind of on an afternoon shift. So these shifts I don't really feel motivated to go out and work because it's such odd hours. But today's October 2nd. When you're going to see this video, I'm not exactly sure, but I can tell you right now, in Canada, we got a winter storm warning, hence the toque, and the noise you hear in the background is the fans. So I'm going to pit around in the garage for an hour, crack the beer, old Milwaukee this time, and we're gonna piddle away at this. So the next thing we're going to remove is this wiring box. There's 3 10mm bolts holding it on. We're going to loosen the wiring box, yank it back. I think we're going to remove the throttle body after that, if I have enough room. And then we should have access to the CCV valve, but we will find out. We will find out. Alright, once you remove the wiring harness, kind of pull it away to the side, your throttle body comes off, and there's one electrical connection here, and it's held on by 4 bolts. I got 3 of them out, and the other one fell down below, so you have to try to find that one later. And right now is actually when you got this out. Don't damage this rubber gasket on the back. And you can see my throttle body's a little dirty, so we're going to clean that up. But now I'm going to show you, because we got access to the CCV valve now, so I'm going to show you that. Alright, I'll kind of shine the light on it there. So there's your CCV valve right there. I don't know if you can see it, but there's your starter. I've never had to change a starter on this car, but I don't think there'd be any easy way to do it besides remove the fucking intake. So let's hope that never happens. But I'm going to leave the video at this for tonight. I'm in no rush to get this done because winter's here and I'm not going to drive this car this winter. So the next video will be removing the CCV and removing it, putting a new one in, swapping out the hoses, and we'll get this fucking video done and slam it away. Alright, so I'm just going about trying to remove all the hoses and shit. And when you work in a very diverse area like mine, where you experience all 4 seasons, most of it in the wintertime, these plastic parts get really brittle. That's one of the hoses. That is supposed to be a flexible hose. I know you can't physically see, but right now we are removing the valve. I got one nut out. It's pretty hard to try to get in there and film. You basically got to use a lot of feeling around. If you have a mirror, that'll help. But this part of the video is going to be pretty tough. So you're just going to have to use your imagination and get yourself through it. Well, the CCV valve is out. It didn't come out all in one piece, but we got it out. Came out in pieces. So this rubber plug here that you see, we gotta transfer that over to the new one before we put it back in. Alright, so now comes the fun part of putting all the hoses back together now. First one I'm gonna feed in is this one here. That one goes down and it's gonna feed into that one. And then this one here, it's got to somehow feed down in there and there. So I'm just gonna put that in there lightly for now. Alright, I'll get on the front one now, and this is the one here that runs 90 degrees and runs down into there. This is the last one. This one connects to your oil dipstick, but we're gonna worry about this one last. We're basically gonna try to get this into place without breaking it and attach all the hoses. Show you, this is the hardest part of the fucking job. This fucking hose right here that connects to the manifold up top, this line connects around, goes around the corner there, and this one fishes down a hole, goes through underneath and on top the CCV valve. That thing is a fucking cocksucker to get on. I fought with it for almost an hour. So some people are gonna get lucky and get it on quick. I ended up putting grease on the fucking O-ring there to get it on because she wasn't fucking going, and it's a tight fit, and I got big fucking hands because I'm fat, and I was fucking trying to push it through, but I got it, and I'm fucking mad, man. You can tell I'm cursing like a motherfucker. So yeah, I'm gonna take a break, have a beer, come back. Show you this as well. When people are talking about this tab here lining up, that's what they're talking about, lining up right inside there. Can you see? That's what they mean. Just let you know for reference. Together, once you get the valve put in place, it'll take you about an hour to put everything back in. Going back together goes real smooth. A lot easier than I thought because it took a lot longer to take it apart, just basically because I didn't know what I was doing. I just finished running the engine, and there's no engine codes for right now, so all the wiring must be connected, everything must be good, and fucking I'm glad this job's done. There's still like the vent that goes across here for your cabin air filter, and the cover that goes across here. I don't have those put on yet, only because the next couple of videos I'm going to be doing is the valve cover gasket and spark plug. So I don't want to put those all back together just to take them back off tomorrow to do those videos. So I'm just going to copy from this video onto those ones, just for those people who want to know. So now that this job is done, it takes exactly what they say. It's about 5 to 7 hours. It probably took me about between that time. That was including filming. The project itself is difficult. There's a lot of small places. Like I got fairly large hands because I'm fat, and some spots are pretty hard to reach and stuff. But if you got small hands and you're a small guy, you'll fucking just cruise along pretty good. Like I said, the hardest part for me in this whole project is once you got the valve put in place and you got that one piece that kind of comes up in the 90s and 90s again, and it goes up top, and you got that other line that goes from the back of your engine to that one, connect to that one. It's the one that goes underneath to the CCV valve. That one was super hard to connect. I fought with that for like, I'm not gonna lie, probably close to 40 minutes before I got it on. Some people are gonna get it on just like that. Some people are gonna fight with it. I fought with it. I'm just being honest with you guys. Other than that, you gotta be very careful. There's a lot of, like these cars, a lot of it's plastic, and over time it gets brittle. So you don't want to get too rammy with it. I don't know how this video is gonna turn out because there's a lot of places you really can't film because you really can't see it, right? You're just basically feeling. So if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, I'll try to answer as best I can below. I hope this video helps you who are going to be able to try to attempt this job. Don't be afraid, but once you start, there's no turning back. Like once you get past that one point, that's it, you're fucking done. So you better make sure you can do it. Anyways, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, post them below. Otherwise, thanks for watching.